begin. For my God, it's time for us to protect and defend.
Hi, I'm Father Michael Orsi. I am your host for Action for Life Television, that good news program with the big G for the gospel of Jesus Christ and the little g for all of the good things that people are doing to make the gospel of life present throughout the world. And this program is an ecumenical program. It brings in all faiths and helps us to understand the value of human life from its very beginning, conception, until natural death, and all of those things that come in between, like kids. That's tough, raising kids. And good marriages. Wow, what grace you need to stay in a good marriage. And even helps senior citizens like me. When you get old, well, we want you to know that you're valuable too. God loves you too, and a very important part of society. Today, we have with us a very handsome couple here. See, that's Malachi and his sister Crystal. Oh, you're not his sister.
I'm his mother.
You're his mother.
That's correct, yeah.
Wow. I guess that makes me like your grandfather or something like that, you know? Well, welcome. They have an interesting story. And the story is even more interesting than I could tell you at the moment, but believe me, folks, there is going to be more to come, and the more will be perhaps on another program. But when you hear Crystal talk, she sounds like she comes from Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. Where do you come from?
Kentucky.
Kentucky. Is that near Brooklyn?
Not quite.
Not quite near Brooklyn. Okay. But you're kind of new to our area, aren't you?
2013. We moved back here. 2013.
Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. And you came to the area, I guess for a couple of reasons. You have a church.
That's correct.
In the area.
Yeah.
Your husband's pastor?
Yeah, he and I co-pastor, yes.
Co-pastor, okay.
Yep.
What do you do at the church?
Well, a lot. I plan all of the events, and I do a lot of the evangelism, and I actually run the youth ministry right now because we're still sort of a new church plant, and I'm the worship leader. So
wonderful. Okay, wonderful.
Quite a few things.
Then you come to us with a background in pro-life. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us how you got involved with pro-life?
Yeah, I always wanted to be, I grew up in a pro-life family, in a pastor's family, and I wanted to be more involved in pro-life, but where I grew up in Kentucky, there wasn't really the opportunity to do the things I'm able to do here now. We have to wait on God's timing, and He certainly moved this spring. I was able to get connected with the Sidewalk Advocates for Life, which has been an amazing thing to be a part of. They do such a great work, and I'm just honored to be out there with those ladies, and we glean from one another, and it's a beautiful thing. But that's when I really began to really step into what I'm doing now. But I don't know if you want to jump into the 40 Days for Life part yet or not.
We're going to get there. We're
okay.
Gonna get there. Talk a little bit about the Sidewalk Advocates for Life. Mm-hmm. What do you do?
Well, we have to be led by the Holy Spirit in everything that we do. You honestly do not know when someone's getting out of their car what they're there for. And we stand outside of Planned Parenthood or any abortion facility. And the group that I'm with, we stand outside of the one in Naples, Florida. And it's just, you never really know what kind of day it's going to be. I had an interesting day just this Monday. There wasn't as many women coming in for appointments, but there was, for instance, a group of ladies who were there for a meeting, and you could tell they weren't necessarily business professionals, but they were all carrying things. And so me and my partner were praying, what can we say to these ladies? And God gave me a different opportunity, as He always does, the women will tell you. And I was able to project my voice and spread the gospel and quote scripture to them. And
so they're entering into the Planned Parenthood facility, mm-hmm. Yes. And you are speaking to them, yes. Or shouting to them.
Well, we're projecting with about 15 seconds to sometimes 45 seconds to be able to get the message across, yeah.
Okay, and so you try to tell them, hey, you don't have to go in there.
Exactly.
I mean, there's a another way to do this.
Exactly. Whether they work there, they're going to be a patient, whether they're having a meeting there, we try to reach everyone walking in and let them know, look, you don't have to be affiliated with this place. There's places that we can help you. We have the resources. Naples just across the street. There's
right
a community.
Across the street, CPCI,
yes.
and they can go there, and they also can give them a sonogram, the ultrasound, folks.
Free.
Let me tell you something. You could say way back in 1973 that people really didn't know. Well, you look at the sonogram now. Believe me, you know that that's a baby. And, whenever I've gone to pray in front of Planned Parenthood, I know the counselors tell the people, tell them you want to see a picture of the ultrasound.
Right.
And a few weeks ago, some man was coming out of there, and we said, go in there and demand to see a picture.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Came out with the woman.
Yes.
They had the picture, and he says to me, Papa. And there it was. There it was, the baby right there, right there.
Yeah.
Right? Now, you train counselors.
I have been trained, and then when we get new ones, we sort of shadow one another.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, so every week outside
every
of Planned
single
Parenthood.
Monday.
And you're not getting like government money, are you?
Oh no, no one gets paid.
Although Planned Parenthood is getting about like a $500 million and to kill people, $500 million to kill babies. I mean, this is I'm going to use an Italian word here. This is stunada. You know what stunada is? That's crazy. It's crazy. And these people are out there, not getting anything, and they're saving babies' lives. And there's nothing more beautiful than when we have a save.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, okay, so folks are out there week after week, saving babies' lives. But then, like a major event comes along. It's twice a year now.
It is.
Okay, and that is called
40 Days for Life.
40 Days for Life.
Yes.
And you're heavily involved with that.
I am now.
Okay, tell us about 40 Days for Life.
Well, when we moved here, we found out that there was a Planned Parenthood in Fort Myers first before we found out there was one in Naples. So we went as a family. And the family involvement in this is so important.
There's you and your son.
And my husband. I have 5 kids.
Yeah, 5.
So we would take them, we would gather up the whole family and go to the sidewalk. And we happened to start during a fall campaign in Fort Myers. And we drove through Naples and realized there was a Planned Parenthood, but there was no one standing there. And it took a couple seasons and even years through prayer and finding out, well, they just, I guess for several years, they felt like it being a seasonal place that they didn't have the people to do it. And we got connected with Luncheons for Life, another great, network platform for pro-lifers. And I met Jean Bordeaux, who is over the Respect Life of the Diocese of Venice, and she stood up and made the call at the end of one of the luncheons, and that call was to me. And it was the answer to prayers that I'd prayed.
Like the Holy Spirit.
Oh, absolutely.
Over lunch.
My heart after lunch. My heart was just beating.
It's a lunch. I think it's like once a month, right?
It's beautiful. Yes.
And it's like free. Mm-hmm. Free. You go and have lunch and connect with all the pro-life people.
Yeah.
And you'd be surprised what you find out and the relationships that you make. It's so enriching and so powerful. So maybe could they get in touch with you about Luncheons for Life?
Oh, I'd be happy to get them in contact with the right people.
At the end of the show, Crystal's going to give you some information, how to get in touch with her Facebook, her website. She got a good face for Facebook, doesn't she? Yeah. And well, you too. I mean, I'm going to get to you too because you kind of have a unique kind of story, and reaching out to young people. See, a lot of times people think, oh, pro-life, it's for all old people like Father Orsi. Oh, no, it ain't.
Right.
Young people are involved too, like Malachi is involved. Okay. Now, I want just a few minutes. 40 days. Tell us a little bit about the 40 days. And then
she stood up, she made the call, and she said, if anybody wants to help with it, I went over to her. She set up a meeting immediately, and she pretty much just kind of, with mentoring me still, has handed over that task. They warned me it would be a daunting task. I honestly didn't know how daunting until we got into it, but you coordinate with churches, and that's the amazing, beautiful part is it doesn't matter what denomination. They all come together as a community, and we work together to make sure there's someone praying for 40 40 days outside of these clinics where these women are going in with a crisis and they're looking for answers, and we try to be that answer and that witness of Christ on the sidewalk for them. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
It is. I mean, you go down there and you see those people praying. You can feel the power of God. You can just feel the power of God. You know, sometimes people say, well, you know, how many saves did you have today? Well, sometimes you might not have any. Sometimes you might have, you know, a couple of saves. But you don't know how many lives that you've touched.
Right.
When those women and their husbands or boyfriends are going in to Planned Parenthood, you don't know the difference that you made because you may have touched their heart. Maybe they're going to begin to think differently. Some do come out, you know, we don't know that maybe they just went in and they left. But others will take that message with them the rest of their lives and say, I don't want to do anything like this again. So it's a powerful witness. 40 days, like 40 days in the desert, right?
Yeah.
40 years, you know, in the desert. That's what it comes from, those 40 days when Jesus was at prayer, preparing for the public ministry. That number 40 is a special number. Okay, now, where do you fall in on the line with the kids?
I have a club at the...
No, your
it's
family.
Family kids.
Family kids.
I'm the oldest.
You're the oldest. Okay, and they go down to how old?
9.
9. Okay. So you were part of the family party that went to pray at Planned Parenthood.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, how did that work out? I mean, you know, you went there and you were praying, and were you happy to be there?
At first we were all confused, the younger kids, and Mom... We were all like, okay, well, where's Mom taking us? And so we get there, and we're holding signs up, and my siblings are like, what are we doing? And at first, you're kind of like, oh, she tells us we're going to stand out here for a couple hours. We're like, okay. But then you really start to think about what you're doing when you're out there, and you read the signs, because we made our own signs, and we're reading the ones like, one of them, I can't remember the exact verse, was talking about before I formed you in the womb.
Oh, isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
Jeremiah.
Yeah, yeah. And reading that and getting honks, and it just made it more real. And like she said, we've always been pro-life, but it never really touched me until we really moved down here.
And so how old were you then?
13.
I was 13 then.
Okay, so you're in the business. How old are you now?
I'm 19.
Okay, so it's quite some time. You're in the business, and you started at a young age. You know, folks, I want to tell you something. We're talking about the Bible, how important it is, and you know, you have a Bible-centered church. Sometimes people say to me, "Hey, where does it say in the Bible you can't have an abortion?" Well, you know what, folks, it doesn't say it. It doesn't say it. But it does say, before you were born, I formed you in the womb. I knew you before you were born. 130, what, 38? Yeah, something like that. There's 138 Psalms.
Jeremiah 1:5.
Jeremiah 1:5.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, there's all the indications right there. They're all indications right there. Also, 10 Commandments. Thou shalt not murder. Okay, thou shalt not murder. What do you think it is when you see a little baby on that sonogram and you go in there to try to crush its head? What do you think that is? Or try to pull the baby out and sell the body parts. That's what Planned Parenthood does. That's what Planned Parenthood does. And they get federal money for doing it. Now, I want to thank God, you know, for President Trump and Vice President Pence. They're pro-life, and they're trying to cut the funding of Planned Parenthood. Folks, continue to put pressure on your representatives to make sure that murder is not something that the American people have to pay for. Okay, we are going to go to a break, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to talk about some of your experiences in establishing pro-life organizations in school. Stay tuned.
I remember, now they're even missing from December. God's gone missing, Jesus too. Does that even bother you? God's gone missing, Jesus too. Looks like the minority rules, and the Christian world looks mighty weak. No fight at all, just turn the cheek. Time to stand much bolder. Time to move on, we're Christian soldiers. God's gone missing, Jesus too. What on earth are you going to do? Oh my God.
And we're back with Crystal and Malachi Gabbard, two pro-lifers, mother and son, and there are 4 other children and a very nice husband, and they are all involved in the pro-life ministry. Now, you heard a little bit earlier about Malachi's inauguration or initiation into the pro-life movement. Maybe someday inauguration, I hope. But he's also doing some very interesting work on the college campus. Right? Tell us about what you do. Where do you go to school?
Florida Southwestern.
Okay, and you're a freshman?
Sophomore.
Sophomore, okay. Well, I'm told that you established a pro-life group on campus. Tell us about that.
Well, the group is called Bucks for Life. Our mascot's called the Buccaneers, and I really found out through it. My sister wanted to start one at the high school, and my mom talked about it, and I thought it was very interesting, and I was like, well, I looked at all of our surrounding areas around Collier County, like Ave Maria, and they had a club. And
yeah, but that's one of these Catholic places you expect it.
Well, yeah.
Folks, I expect Catholic institutions to have a pro-life club. Okay.
Well, I looked in Collier County and there was no club, and I was like, well, we need a club. So I went to my school and told them we needed a club, and they were open to it.
Okay, so who did you go to?
I went to the student engagement to talk to them about the club, and they organize all the clubs for the school.
So, like, who's student engagement? Is that like an associate dean, or is that an organization within the school?
They're right below the dean. The dean oversees them. What they do is anything the students need, what the students want, they plan events and stuff like that. And if you need something, they'll get it for you.
Okay, so there was no trouble?
No, not with mine.
Okay. Do they have like funding to help you?
Yes, yeah. So I get $500 every semester to go towards my club.
So $1,000 for the club. And what does that go toward? You have $1,000. I mean, it's not a lot of money these days, but it's something. You know, Planned Parenthood, as I said, they get $500 million to kill people.
Yeah.
All right, I had to get that off my chest again. I'm sorry. All right, so anyway, all right, so you get $1,000.
Yep.
And then what happens?
Well, we really plan events. So the organization I'm with is called Students for Life. They're a national club. And so when I looked up what they were all about, because I wanted to find something where I could connect with other clubs, hopefully all across Florida, really they're event-based, because students are busy. A lot of them work and have a lot of classes. Some of them even have families, surprisingly. And I mean, like kids. But they don't have a lot of time to have meetings like a lot of clubs do. So we're really event-based. So if we can do one event every now and then just to speak to them and touch their hearts.
Okay, but what's the event? You have a speaker come in? What do you do?
Yeah, so right now that's what we're working on. We're trying to show the movie Unplanned.
Oh, yeah, what a movie.
Yeah, so we're trying
Folks,
to do
if you haven't seen the movie, make sure you see the movie. I think it's out like on DVD and Netflix, and I think.
It's on DVD.
DVD,
I
don't know. I don't know about Netflix. I don't think so. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so we're going to do the movie. We actually, at the last tabling of it, we did, because we had our regional person over the clubs come down, and he's doing a tour about a post-Roe America and what does that mean for women and men and students. And so we actually had a guy come, and he came up to me, and he's like, I want to help you out. And I can't remember the name of his organization. But anyway, he funds for speakers to come and speak. So he mentioned Ben Shapiro, which would be awesome, but he can give us up to $1,000 to pay for that, but I think he's a little bit out of that budget, but hopefully we can get someone like him to come and speak to the students.
Well, that would be great. Okay, so you now start the club. And how does word get out? You put up a sign, you say, hey, you want to come to my club, pro-life and all that stuff, and like, how was that received in the school?
Very, very mixed. Some people, because it's a very small school, they're like, the administration are happy with it because they're wanting more students to come in. Other students are a little iffy about it. Really, the first event I had was when like the regional guy came down, And I just played music, and we held up these signs. We had a banner with infant clothes on it, and it said, my coach told my mommy to abort me, or daddy didn't want me, and things like that. Real reasons why women were aborted or had aborted their babies. And kids were walking by, and they're looking at this big banner we made, and they're like, what is that? And they're looking at it, and they're reading it. They're like, what the heck? And so they're talking to us like, what does this mean? Like, why does it say that? And it's really that. So we play music. Kids like rap. So we played Christian rap. And then we had the banner, and we just had open conversations, and we had big signs. So that got their attention.
Well, how many came?
We had over 100 kids sign up.
Over 100?
Yeah. We had a lot of people that were upset about it, but we had over 100 sign up, yeah.
Now, those that came were pro-life, or they thought they were just interested, or were they people who were trying to harass you?
All of the above.
All the above.
So a lot of the kids, most of the kids that signed up were pro-life, but almost didn't really know they were. A lot of people, like even when I was younger, you really have to start that conversation and start really thinking about it. It's bringing awareness is what we're really trying to do. And a lot of kids were like, yeah, I want to fight for this cause.
Isn't that amazing? You see, folks, sometimes you're ready to give up. You're going to say, oh, yeah, these young people don't want to hear anything about pro-life, and, they want just like free love and, and free money and all that stuff. Here you go. You have 100 young people at an initial meeting at a public university, public college. They show up. They're interested. You know why, folks? Let me tell you why. People want the truth. Speak the truth. The truth will set you free. And you have this is a young evangelist right here. This is what this is. He's an evangelizer. And you're speaking the truth. Now, when you speak the truth, this is a public college.
Yeah.
All right. You're able to give witness to the Bible and Jesus and...
Yeah, I am, because, on the college level, I'm allowed to. Kids don't like that. The school's really open to it. I used to be president of a Christian fellowship club, and what we would do is we would write signs on a whiteboard, and we'd meet outside in the courtyard, and we'd have people walk by, and they're like, what does that mean? We had Buddhists, atheists, people of all religions come down. We really told them about the gospel and what it meant. So I have a really good relationship with student engagement because I've gotten more students involved. No one liked their basketball court. I like playing basketball, and no one had played on their court in over 5 years, and I was the first one to bring kids out there. So they're like, Malachi, whatever you do, you're bringing more kids. So
hey, you're
God's
my man.
opened the door.
You're my man. You got a big future ahead of you. Big future ahead of you. All right, now, Mom, I'm going to ask you a question. We got to step lightly here, okay? Because one of your daughters is involved in a bit of a contentious situation, better known as a lawsuit. Anyway, we can't say too much, but we're going to whet your appetite because someday we're going to have her wonderful daughter on the show. So tell us what's going on with this contentious situation.
Well, so before he started the club, it was actually his sister who had watched Unplanned, and that was her light bulb moment where she said, now I understand why Mom would take us to do this. And so she wanted to start a Students for Life club. She tried to do that, and after 3 months of trying, the school still did not approve it. It
was like in a high school, unnamed.
Yes, but in Collier County, I will say that.
We can say that.
I'm going to say that.
Folks,
yeah.
I'm having a hard time restraining myself. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So the bottom line is this: students should be free to express their views, their religious beliefs. They are protected.
Where does that come from?
And they have the right to do that.
Where they say they have the right to free speech?
I'm pretty sure it's in our amendments.
Yeah, isn't that something? The First Amendment, freedom of speech.
Yeah, and equal access rights. Yeah. So she ended up she got help with the Alliance Defending Freedom. An attorney decided to represent that, and they sent a demand letter and what have you. And then that's when the school said, okay, we're going to, so they're letting her meet, and we'll see what happens next.
Well, let me just say, Alliance Defending Freedom, if you have any issues that you know of or you're involved with that involve religious freedom, well, Alliance Defending Freedom, Alliance for Freedom, right?
The ADF, Defending Freedom.
Yeah, Alliance Defending, this is the place to go. This is the place to go. They do a lot of pro bono work. That means free. They will help you with your situation. So, you know, the constitutional rights. You know, way back in the 60s, there was a group that a number of people were protesting the Vietnam War, and they were wearing armbands, black armbands, and the schools tried to stop them. Went to the Supreme Court, called the Tinker case. And you know what the Supreme Court said? Your rights do not leave you at the schoolhouse door. You have your rights. So you have your rights to go into school and speak the truth. You have the right to go into school and expect that your religious rights will not be abrogated at the schoolhouse door. Religious rights. You have a right to speak the truth and a right to proclaim to your fellow students what you believe. And don't be afraid, you know, carry a Bible. Take a Bible. Sometimes once a year, we have an organization that gives out Bibles at public schools. Take the Bible. Take the Bible. All right, now, I want to know, first of all, if somebody wants to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
They can email me.
I mean, we've got a lot of pretty girls out there that might want to date. I mean, so be careful here, you know.
Yeah, they can email me or text me is the best way.
Okay, how can they email? Want to tell us your email?
It's malachigabbard@gmail.com.
Okay, say it again.
malachigabbard@gmail.com.
Gabbard.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Girls, you got his phone number now, all right? He's hot. All right, now, Mama, let's talk about how do they get in touch with you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I said before, that was actually the first successful fall campaign we had, but we're gearing up for spring. If anybody wants to help with 40 Days for Life, it begins February the 26th and goes through April
How do they get in touch with you? They want to be there.
40 Days for Life Naples at Gmail is the email.
Say it again.
40 Days for Life Naples at Gmail and Facebook. Please go and follow and like us. There's more up-to-date announcements on the Facebook page.
Okay, go to Facebook page. Hey, gang. This has been a wonderful program. I want to thank the both of you for being here. Listen, this is Action for Life. Watch us every week. Tell your friends all about it, because I'm for action, and I hope that you are too.
We trust that this week's Action for Life program has challenged and encouraged you in honoring, respecting, preserving, and protecting human life. If you'd like to support this ministry or just get more information, we invite you to visit our website at www.actionforlife.net.
Time to move on, we're Christian soldiers. God's gone missing, Jesus too. What on earth are you going to do?
Welcome to Action for Life. This is an uplifting program. Talks about the good news. After all, isn't the gospel the good news of Jesus Christ?
Oh my God, are they crucifying you once again?
Action for Life every Tuesday evening at 8:30 right here on CTN 10.